আসসালামু আলাইকুম বন্ধুরা, চলুন আজকে আমরা যারা অনলাইনে এই মুহূর্তে আছি ভারতীয় মিডিয়া বাংলাদেশ সম্পর্কে কি বলছে এই কথাগুলো আমরা শুনে আসি। আগে বাংলাদেশের উন্নয়নের অগ্রযাত্রায় অনেকেই ঈর্ষান্বিত, বিশেষ করে প্রতিবেশী দেশ ভারত, পাকিস্তান, মায়ানমার এরা বাংলাদেশের প্রতি মনে মনে খুবই হিংসায় জ্বলছে, কারণ বাংলাদেশ ইতিমধ্যেই উন্নয়নের সাঁকোয় পা দিয়েছে এবং উন্নয়নের অগ্রযাত্রায় চলছে। তো বাংলাদেশের যেখানে বড় বড় প্রজেক্ট হাতে নেওয়া হয়েছে, বিশ্বব্যাংক যেখানে অর্থায়ন করতে অস্বীকার করেছে, পদ্মা সেতুর মতো এত বড় একটা মেগা প্রজেক্ট বাংলাদেশ তার নিজস্ব অর্থায়নে শেষ করেছে। পাশাপাশি মেট্রো রেল চালু হয়েছে। তো বন্ধুরা, চলুন আগে আমরা দেখে আসি ভারতীয় মিডিয়া এ ব্যাপারে কি বলছে। 1, 2, 3.
On the 3rd of December 1971, India joined a war that redrew the world map. It was not a war of choice, but a war of necessity. At least 11 Indian air bases had been attacked, and 10 million refugees had crossed the border. The stability of the continent was at stake, but international concern was more than missing. The Indian Army, under the command of Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, was asked to intervene. An offensive was launched. All three forces fought in unison and overwhelmed the enemy. India took 93,000 prisoners and helped 75 million people get freedom. This was one of the shortest wars in history. All it took was 14 days, 1-4. This fortnight led to the birth of a new nation, Bangladesh. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. It's been 50 years since the liberation of Bangladesh, a true friend of India, a trusted neighbor and a valued partner. There's an enormous reserve of goodwill that both India and Bangladesh have for each other. In 2021, this relationship is set to become stronger and more rewarding. We'll discuss that in detail. First, let's look at some facts. India and Bangladesh have a nearly 4,000-kilometer long border, the largest land boundary that India shares with any of its neighbors. These two countries also share 54 rivers. No two countries in the world have so many rivers in common, 54. Here's something else that they have in common. The poet who composed their national anthem, Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. In India, we sing the Jan Gan Man. In Bangladesh, they sing Amar Shonar Bangla. Tagore wrote both of them. Bangladesh is also India's biggest trade partner in South Asia. In 2019, India's exports to Bangladesh stood at $9.21 billion, while imports from Bangladesh were worth at least $1.22 billion. India has also provided duty-free and quota-free access to Bangladeshi products that come into India. Bangladesh is also the biggest recipient of Wuhan virus vaccines from India. Dhaka has so far received 9 million doses of Covishield from India. I could go on. There's no dearth of interesting facts and figures to share, but you get the drift. New Delhi and Dhaka share an organic relationship which goes beyond gains and losses. What they call a textbook example of a neighborly relationship. In 1971, when the Urdu-speaking rulers of what was then East Pakistan began wiping out the Bengali-speaking nationalists, India gave refuge to civilians, students, intelligentsia, religious minorities and armed personnel from Bangladesh. There were an estimated 10 million of them, including an entire government in exile of the Awami League. It's at a new base near Kolkata. India also provided weapons and training to the Mukti Bahini, or the Liberation Army, a potent force for freedom and the face of Bengali resistance. The Indian Army, actively assisted by the Mukti Bahini, reached Dhaka and made Pakistan surrender.
मैं बिल्कुल टेंस नहीं था, मुझे कोई शक नहीं थी, कोई शक नहीं था कि क्या होगा, क्योंकि मैंने प्लान किया था पहले, 7 महीने से प्लान किया था, काफी फौज थी, अब मुझे कोई शक नहीं था कि क्या करेंगे।
Then in 1975, when there was a coup in Bangladesh, the country's prime minister and father of the nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was assassinated. His daughters, Sheikh Hasina and Rehana, along with their families, found asylum in India. They lived at Ring Road in New Delhi's Lajpat Nagar area and then near Pandara Park till 1981. It was during this self-exile that Sheikh Hasina was elected the president of the Awami League. Today, she is the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, one of the most powerful women leaders in South Asia. She has featured both in Forbes and the Time magazine's list of influential women. And she is driving Bangladesh's spectacular economic performance. You may already know this. Since 2018, Bangladesh has remained one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Sheikh Hasina is also a great friend of India. The last time she was here, Prime Minister Modi reached the Palam Technical Air Force Base to personally receive her. This was a significant break from protocol. Meanwhile, the former President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, extended an exceptional courtesy. He invited Sheikh Hasina to stay at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. She came bearing gifts, artworks, a dinner set, a leather bag and 2 kilos of sandesh for Prime Minister Modi and a Rajshahi silk sari for the Prime Minister's mother. For the President, Sheikh Hasina got 20 kilos of hilsa, the most sought after and prized fish for Bengalis. Some accounts even say that she herself oversaw the cooking of hilsa in the kitchens of the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
तो आज भी वो साल में 3-4 बार कोई बंगाली नई मिठाई होगी तो स्पेशली ढाका से मुझे भेज देती।
Like I said, India and Bangladesh have an organic relationship, one that cannot be measured through the prism of gains and losses. The two countries have grown incredibly close in the last 6 years. Bilateral ties have taken the form of a 360-degree partnership. The comfort level is so high that no domain has been left untouched. Security, trade, transport, connectivity, culture, you name it, the complexion of this engagement is quite diverse. There is a sizable Tamil and Telugu population in Bangladesh in the textile, tech and medical industry. A growing number of tourists and Bangladeshi students now visit India. In September 2020, when India marked the Forbes and the Time magazine's list of influential women, and she is driving Bangladesh's spectacular economic performance. You may already know this. Since 2018, Bangladesh has remained one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Sheikh Hasina is also a great friend of India. The last time she was here, Prime Minister Modi reached the security, trade, transport, connectivity, culture, you name it, the complexion of this engagement is quite diverse. There is a sizable Tamil and Telugu population in Bangladesh in the textile, tech and medical industry. A growing number of tourists and Bangladeshi students now visit India. In September 2020, when India marked the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, Bangladesh issued a stamp in his honor. In January this year, a 122-member contingent of the Bangladesh Armed Forces took part in the 72nd Republic Day parade in India. They marched to the tune of Shono Ekti Mujibur Theke. Listen from the one Mujibur. India and Bangladesh are also jointly producing a biographical film on Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The film was announced by INB Minister Prakash Javadekar at the 51st International Film Festival of India. It will be directed by the legendary filmmaker Shyam Benegal. This was as far as the people-to-people connect is concerned. On the government level, Prime Minister Modi has met Sheikh Hasina several times in Delhi, in Dhaka, in Kolkata and elsewhere, and each meeting has been remarkable. Both leaders have shown an astute understanding of their priorities and they've struck deals on several joint projects. In 2019, they agreed to build a coastal surveillance radar system to combat growing security threats in the Bay of Bengal. In March 2020, Bangladesh wholeheartedly backed Prime Minister Modi's call for a regional emergency fund for tackling the pandemic. It contributed $1.5 million to this fund. Then in December, leaders of these two countries held a virtual summit to enhance bilateral ties. A number of MOUs were signed, several deals were struck, the foremost being a trans-border railway route to enhance trade ties. This route will link Haldibari in India and Chilahati in Bangladesh. This will be his first visit abroad since the pandemic and the second to Bangladesh as Prime Minister of India. He will be the guest of honor for the commemoration of 3 momentous events. 1, 50 years of Bangladesh's liberation war. 2, 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Bangladesh. And 3, the birth centenary of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The Indian Prime Minister standing in Bangladesh is a pronounced affair. Bangladesh is central to the Indian government's Neighbourhood First policy and increasingly relevant to its Act East policy. The fact that Prime Minister Modi chose Bangladesh to make his first foreign trip in 15 months highlights the growing priority New Delhi attaches to Dhaka. That said, It's not that issues do not exist. All neighbors have issues. So do India and Bangladesh. From the Tryst water sharing deal to the issue of illegal immigrants, to disagreements on the maritime border, and to differing views on Chinese investments, there are quite a few outstanding issues and differences. But Delhi and Dhaka know well how not to turn differences into disputes. They understand that sometimes even the best of friends have to agree to disagree on certain matters. So I'll wrap with what Rabindranath Tagore once said: the depth of a friendship does not depend on the length of acquaintance. India and Bangladesh have worked together for half a century, but the growing camaraderie that we have witnessed in the recent years is unprecedented. The upcoming visit by Prime Minister Modi is aimed at further building on this. The Dhaka-Delhi partnership has finally come of age.
বন্ধুরা, আমরা এতক্ষণ দেখলাম আপনারা আমার সাথে ছিলেন, যারা ধৈর্যের সাথে ভিডিওটি দেখেছেন, আমি আপনাদের আন্তরিকভাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। তো বন্ধুরা, যারা আমার সাথে ছিলেন তাদেরকে আমি অনুরোধ করব, যদি আমার চ্যানেলে নতুন হয়ে থাকেন তাহলে অবশ্যই আজকে সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন এবং কমেন্ট করে জানাবেন আপনার ভালো লাগা মন্দ লাগা। আমার সাথেই থাকবেন। আল্লাহ হাফেজ। বাংলাদেশ জিন্দাবাদ।